There is a process happening inside you right now, a process that nature designed over millions of years to transform ordinary men into superior versions of themselves. We are talking about seminal retention, not just as a practice of self-control, but as an inner alchemy that rebuilds you from the cellular foundations. While the modern world teaches you that regular ejaculation is healthy and natural, your ancestors knew a deeper truth. That masculine life force, when consciously conserved, transforms into the most powerful energy in the universe. You have been programmed to believe you need to relieve the pressure, when in fact, you need to learn to transmute it. Seminal retention is not about repressing your sexuality. It is about awakening versions of yourself that remain dormant while you waste your vital essence. Men who master this process become unrecognizable, magnetism that attracts effortlessly, creativity that springs from nowhere, courage that faces any challenge, presence that commands instant respect. In the next few minutes, I will show you exactly what to expect during the retention process, how to navigate each phase of the transformation, why the initial difficulties are signs that it is working, and how to trust the process even when your mind screams to give up. You will understand why men who complete this journey never look back. If you are considering starting seminal retention but have doubts about what to expect, if you have already started but are struggling with the urge to quit, if you want to understand why this process is called the masculine rebirth, stay until the end. This might be the perspective you need to fully trust the process that will transform you into the man you always had the potential to be. There is a natural biological process that should be part of every man's education, but has been completely eliminated from modern masculine consciousness. Seminal retention is not an alternative or spiritual practice. It is the natural, optimized state of the human male, operating as nature designed. In traditional societies, young men learned that sexual energy is transmuted vital energy, and that consciously conserving it was fundamental to developing strength, courage, creativity, and leadership. Ancient warriors practiced continence before battles. Artists conserved energy while creating masterpieces. Spiritual leaders utilized retention to develop higher powers. The natural process works through precise cycles that masculine biology instinctively recognizes. During the first 14 days of retention, your body undergoes a hormonal reset. Testosterone increases, cortisol decreases, growth hormones rise. It is as if systems that were operating in emergency mode can finally function optimally. Between 14 to 30 days, what can be called energetic awakening occurs. The energy that was constantly being drained through ejaculation begins to accumulate and seek expression through other channels. Explosive creativity, motivation for intense exercise, an impulse to build and create in the physical world. From 60 days, the alchemical transmutation takes place, when accumulated sexual energy literally transforms into personal magnetism, unshakable confidence, and a presence that others instinctively feel. Men in this phase often report that people begin to treat them differently without any conscious change in behavior. After 90 days, what ancient traditions called spiritual power emerges, capabilities that modern psychology considers extraordinary. Intuition that borders on the supernatural, the ability to influence situations through presence, an almost magnetic attraction that operates independently of techniques or strategies. The process is neither linear nor predictable. Some men experience dramatic transformations in weeks. Others take months to notice significant changes. Age, health, ejaculation history, and complementary practices drastically influence the speed and intensity of the transformation. What makes this process revolutionary is that it reconnects you with your original masculine nature, the one that existed before pornography, compulsive masturbation, and irresponsible ejaculation fragmented your vital energy. It is literally a return to the natural biological design of man. Modern science confirms what ancient traditions always knew. Seminal retention optimizes hormonal function, improves physical health, amplifies mental capacity, and develops characteristics that societies have always associated with superior men. It is not placebo. They are measurable changes in multiple bodily systems. The most important aspect is understanding that this is a process, not an event. Real changes take time to consolidate, Your body needs time to repair years of energetic depletion. Your mind needs time to be reprogrammed away from addictive patterns. Your energy needs time to find new channels of expression. Men who try to force quick results often fail because they are fighting against the natural wisdom of the process. Retention works best when you trust the intelligence of your own body and allow the transformation to happen at the pace nature determined. The natural process of seminal retention is your birthright as a man. It is how your body was designed to operate when it is not constantly interrupted by unnecessary ejaculation. To trust this process is to trust your own deepest nature. The journey of seminal retention follows predictable phases that you can map and anticipate, allowing you to navigate the process with confidence even during challenging moments. Understanding these phases eliminates anxiety and helps you recognize that temporary difficulties are signs of progress, not failure. Phase 1. The Awakening, Days 1-7. The first few days are simultaneously the easiest and the most crucial. Your motivation is high, you feel proud of the decision you have made, and your body has not yet fully registered the change. During this phase, establish routines that will support your journey: regular exercise, meditation, creative hobbies. This is also when you should eliminate all pornographic triggers from your environment. Phase 2. The Storm, Days 7-21. This is where the real test begins. Your body and mind, accustomed to regular ejaculation, start to protest the change. Expect intense urges, vivid erotic dreams, unexplained irritability, and a feeling that something is wrong. This is the phase where most men give up, but it is precisely when the magic is beginning. During the storm, hormones are rebalancing, neurotransmitters are recalibrating, and your nervous system is learning new patterns. Irritability is increasing testosterone. Erotic dreams are your mind processing the change. The feeling of pressure is energy accumulating to be transmuted. Phase 3. The Equilibrium, Days 21-40. If you survive the storm, you enter a stabilization phase where you begin to experience the first real benefits. Physical energy increases, mental focus improves, confidence gradually rises. You begin to understand why it is worth persisting. This phase builds momentum for deeper transformations. Phase 4. The Emergence, Days 40-70. This is where the changes happen that make men never want to go back. Personal magnetism becomes noticeable. Creativity explodes. People start treating you differently. You develop what can be called masculine presence, something others instinctively feel but cannot explain. Phase 5. The Transmutation, Days 70-100. The accumulated sexual energy finds expression through higher channels. Ambitious projects, natural leadership, abilities you did not know you possessed. This is the phase where men frequently report increased synchronicities, opportunities appearing magically, and a feeling that life is conspiring in their favor. Phase 6. The Integration, Days 100+. The new version of you stabilizes. The benefits are no longer exciting novelties, but natural aspects of who you have become. You consistently operate at higher levels of energy, creativity, and magnetism. The temptation to return to old patterns drastically decreases because you have literally become a different person. It is important to understand that these phases are not rigid. Some men go through them faster, others slower. Factors like age, health, history of addiction, and complementary practices significantly influence the timeline. It is also crucial to know that relapses do not erase all progress. If you fail in any phase, the accumulated benefits do not completely disappear. You resume the process with an advantage over your previous attempt. Knowledge of these phases is power. When you are in the storm and feel like quitting, remember that this is temporary and that equilibrium is coming. When you are in the emergence and feel invincible, remember that there are still higher levels of transformation waiting. Each phase serves a specific purpose in the reconstruction of your masculinity. Trust the process, even when it does not make logical sense. Your biology knows what it is doing. One of the biggest mistakes men make during retention is interpreting difficulties as signs that something is wrong, when in fact, they are evidence that the transformation is happening exactly as it should. Understanding this is fundamental to maintaining confidence in the process during challenging moments. When you stop ejaculating regularly, systems that were operating in emergency mode begin to recalibrate. This creates temporary turbulence similar to what happens when you stop any habit that altered your brain chemistry. The difference is that seminal retention involves the most primitive and powerful impulse you possess. The irritability and aggressiveness that many men experience in the first few days are not masculine toxicity emerging. It is testosterone rising to levels your system has not experienced in years. Your body is literally remembering what it is like to be a man operating with optimized hormones. The intense erotic dreams and wet dreams are not failures in the process. They are your unconscious processing old patterns and your body finding temporary release valves as it learns new balances. It is like a fever during an illness, a sign that the immune system is working. The feeling of pressure in the pelvic region that scares many men is simply sexual energy accumulating in concentrations you have not experienced since adolescence. Instead of trying to relieve this pressure, you need to learn to transmute it through exercise, breathing, creative activity. The moments of intense doubt, when your mind creates elaborate arguments about why you should stop, are natural psychological tests. Your mind is trying to convince you to return to familiar patterns because change always creates anxiety, even when it is positive. The fatigue that some men feel during the first few weeks is not a sign that retention drains energy. It is evidence that bodily systems are reorganizing at deep levels. It is like fatigue after intense exercise, temporary and followed by increased strength. Emotional fluctuations, moments of euphoria followed by periods of melancholy, reflect your hormonal system finding new balance points. Emotions are chemicals, and when you drastically alter the chemistry through retention, emotions naturally fluctuate until they stabilize. The phase where you feel that nothing is happening and question whether it is worth continuing is particularly treacherous. Deep changes often happen below the conscious threshold before manifesting visibly. It is like planting. You do not see growth immediately, but the roots are developing underground. The moments of intense temptation, when sexual urges become almost unbearable, are actually signs that accumulated energy is seeking expression. Instead of giving in, these are ideal moments to channel energy into intense exercise, creative projects, or practices that move energy upwards. Anxiety about doing it right, or if it will work for you, is universal. Every man who goes through retention experiences these questions. The difference between those who persist and those who give up is understanding that doubt is a natural part of the process, not evidence that you should stop. Traditionally, cultures that practiced retention had mentors to guide young men through these difficulties. In the absence of traditional mentorship, you need to develop the capacity to be your own mentor, recognizing difficulties as signs of progress and maintaining a long-term perspective. Remember, if the process were easy, every man would be extraordinary. The difficulties exist to separate those who genuinely want transformation from those who are just playing with the idea. Every difficulty you overcome makes you stronger and more committed to your evolution. Before pornography, before compulsive masturbation, before irresponsible ejaculation fragmented your energy, there was an original version of you that operated with natural strength, clarity, and purpose. Seminal retention does not transform you into something new. It removes the layers of conditioning that hid who you always were. Your original masculine nature is characterized by directed impulses, focused energy, and the ability to create value in the physical world. When sexual energy is constantly wasted, these impulses become fragmented, and you live in a diminished version of yourself, operating far below your real potential. The reconnection begins when you stop interrupting the natural process of energetic accumulation. Without the constant discharges that reset your system, energy begins to concentrate and seek expression through higher channels. Ambition for meaningful projects, the desire to lead and protect, the impulse to create and build. During the first few weeks of retention, you may feel strange because you are experiencing aspects of yourself that have been dormant for years. The natural aggressiveness that emerges is not destructive violence. It is masculine strength seeking constructive expression through worthy challenges. The competitiveness that intensifies is not an inflated ego. It is an evolutionary drive to stand out, improve, achieve ambitious goals. Men in retention often feel a sudden need to exercise more intensely, take on more responsibilities, seek greater challenges. The mental clarity that develops allows you to see through distractions and focus on what truly matters. Without energy being constantly drained, your brain can operate at full capacity, resulting in laser focus and the ability to make decisions quickly. The magnetism that emerges is simply your natural presence no longer being suppressed by dispersed energy. When you conserve your life force, it radiates through your posture, voice, gaze, creating an attraction that operates independently of techniques or strategies. The courage that develops is not the absence of fear, but a connection to an inner source of strength that allows you to face necessary fears. Men in retention are often surprised to take risks that previously seemed impossible. The creativity that explodes during retention is transmuted sexual energy finding expression through art, business, invention, problem solving. It is the same energy that creates life being redirected to create value in other forms. The natural leadership that emerges is not forced domination, but a presence that others instinctively respect and follow. When you operate from your original nature, people naturally feel safe under your influence. The spirituality that often awakens during retention is not formal religion, but a direct connection to something greater than oneself. Conserving sexual energy allows access to levels of consciousness that remain blocked when life force is being wasted. The process of reconnection is not always comfortable because it involves confronting aspects of yourself that you may have denied or repressed. The masculine nature includes the capacity for controlled violence, fierce ambition, the desire to dominate challenges, qualities that modern society often discourages. Reconnection also involves recovering the ability to feel deeply, without being overwhelmed by emotions. Men in retention develop emotional stability that allows them to process intense feelings without being destroyed by them. The final result is integration. All masculine qualities operating harmoniously: strength and compassion, aggressiveness and protection, ambition and service, independence and connection. It is you operating as a complete, not fragmented man. This reconnection does not happen overnight, but each day of retention removes another layer of conditioning and brings you closer to the original and natural version of who you are. The transformation of sexual energy into creative power is perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of seminal retention. It is not metaphorical. It is a real biochemical process where the same energy that would create life through reproduction is redirected to create value, art, business, and solutions in the physical world. The science behind this transmutation involves neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new neural connections. When sexual energy is conserved instead of wasted, it fuels brain areas responsible for creativity, problem-solving, and innovative thinking. It is literally neural fuel. During the early stages of retention, you may experience creative overload, ideas emerging faster than you can process, sudden impulses to start projects, solutions appearing out of nowhere for problems that had frustrated you for months. This is not a coincidence. It is redirected energy-seeking expression. Transmutation works through multiple channels simultaneously. Intense physical exercise converts sexual energy into strength and endurance. Deep study transforms it into amplified intellectual capacity. Artistic creation channels it into aesthetic expression. Entrepreneurship directs it towards building economic value. The key mechanism is understanding that sexual energy is essentially concentrated creative energy. When this energy is not released through ejaculation, it naturally seeks other channels of expression. Men who learn to consciously direct this redirection achieve extraordinary results. Artists throughout history intuitively understood this connection. Michelangelo practiced celibacy while creating his masterpieces. Tesla remained celibate during his periods of greatest innovation. Da Vinci conserved sexual energy while creating revolutionary inventions. They instinctively knew that sexual energy and creative genius come from the same source. Transmutation requires active practice. Accumulated energy does not automatically transform into creativity. You need to create channels through specific projects where this energy can flow: writing, music, construction, invention, leadership, teaching. Without conscious direction, energy can become stagnant and create destructive pressure. Timing is crucial. The first 21-30 days of retention are ideal for establishing new creative habits, because accumulated energy creates natural motivation for productive activities. This is when you should start projects you have been postponing, learn skills you have always wanted to develop, begin creations that require sustained energy. The quality of creativity during retention is different from ordinary creativity. It is more intense, more focused, more innovative. Men report the ability to work for hours without fatigue, insights that connect seemingly unrelated ideas, solutions that emerge from levels of consciousness they normally do not access. Transmutation also amplifies the capacity to learn. Conserved sexual energy feeds neuroplasticity, allowing you to absorb information more quickly, form neural connections more efficiently, develop skills at an accelerated speed. It is as if your brain operates in turbo mode. The most powerful aspect is that creativity fueled by transmuted sexual energy often produces work that resonates deeply with others. It is as if the concentrated life force charges your creations with power that people instinctively feel. Transmutation is not a passive process. It requires conscious intention and directed action. You need to train your energy to flow through creative channels instead of seeking escape through ejaculation. Each time you redirect energy to creative activity instead of wasting it, you strengthen the neurological pattern of transmutation. The final result is the ability to create value in the world that dramatically exceeds your normal capabilities. It is not just about having more energy. It is about having access to levels of intelligence and creativity that remain dormant when life force is constantly being drained. Beyond the obvious benefits of seminal retention, increased energy, improved confidence, greater focus, there are deep transformations that few discuss, but that can be the most revolutionary of all. These hidden benefits often surprise men and definitively convince them that they never want to return to old patterns. The first hidden benefit is the development of sharp intuition, the ability to know things without logical explanation. Men in retention often report that they can read people with surprising accuracy, anticipate events before they happen, make decisions that prove correct even when they seem irrational at the moment. The second is amplified synchronicity. Significant coincidences begin to happen with statistically impossible frequency. Casual encounters that become important opportunities, information appearing exactly when needed, solutions arising through unexpected sources. It is as if the universe begins to conspire in your favor. The third benefit is the ability to influence environments through presence. Men in retention discover that they can change the energy of a room simply by entering it, calm tense situations through their stability, inspire others without conscious effort. It is magnetism that operates at the energetic level. The fourth is the development of extraordinary emotional resilience. Situations that previously caused intense stress become manageable challenges. Criticisms that once wounded deeply lose the power to shake your stability. You develop an inner center that remains calm regardless of external turbulence. The fifth benefit is the attraction of higher quality people. When you operate at a high frequency through retention, you naturally attract others who are also committed to growth and excellence. Superficial relationships dissolve, deep connections intensify. The sixth is the awakening of latent talents. Abilities you did not know you possessed begin to emerge. Artistic capacity, natural leadership, athletic skills, emotional intelligence, aspects of your potential that were blocked by dispersed energy. The seventh benefit is freedom from seeking external validation. When you feel genuine inner strength developed through retention, the compulsive need to impress others, seek approval, or compete destructively simply disappears. You become genuinely independent. The eighth is the ability to remain calm under extreme pressure. Situations that require performance under stress, important presentations, difficult negotiations, emergencies, become opportunities to demonstrate inner stability developed through energetic conservation. The ninth benefit is the development of presence that heals. People feel better simply by being around you. Your energetic stability has a calming effect on others. Your confidence inspires courage. Your inner peace is contagious to environments. The 10th is the connection with transcendent purpose. Retention often awakens a sense of mission that goes beyond personal interests. You begin to feel a responsibility to use your developed strength to serve something greater than yourself. These benefits are not spiritual in the mystical sense. They are natural results of operating with optimized biological systems. When you conserve vital energy instead of wasting it, capabilities that were dormant naturally emerge. The most important aspect is that these benefits become a permanent part of who you are. They are not temporary altered states, but a new baseline of functioning. Once you experience these levels of capacity, returning to previous functioning becomes literally unthinkable. These hidden benefits are often what convinces men that retention is not just a useful practice, but a fundamental transformation that completely redefines what it means to be a man at his full potential. There is a reason why men who complete the transformation through seminal retention never voluntarily return to the old patterns of compulsive ejaculation. Once you experience functioning at superior levels of energy, creativity, and magnetism, returning to diminished versions of yourself becomes literally unthinkable. The first reason is that you discover capacities you did not know you possessed. Energy, creativity, courage, magnetism, intuition, aspects of your potential that remained dormant while life force was being wasted. It is like discovering you have natural superpowers that were just waiting to be activated. The second reason is the superior quality of life that develops. Relationships become deeper and more meaningful. Work becomes an expression of purpose instead of obligation. Challenges become opportunities for growth instead of threats to survival. You literally live in a qualitatively superior reality. The third reason is the genuine freedom that emerges. Freedom from addictions that controlled your behavior, freedom from the compulsive need for external validation, freedom from fears that limited your actions. Retention develops inner independence that allows choices based on authentic values, not conditioned impulses. The fourth reason is the positive impact you have on others. When you operate from inner strength developed through retention, you naturally inspire and elevate those around you. You become a source of stability, wisdom, and courage for family, friends, colleagues. Contributing positively to others creates a deep sense of meaning. The fifth reason is the unshakable confidence that develops. Not confidence based on external achievements that can be lost, but confidence rooted in direct knowledge of your own inner strength. When you prove to yourself that you can master primitive impulses, you develop certainty that you can face any challenge. The sixth reason is the clarity of purpose that emerges. Retention often awakens a clear sense of mission and direction. You stop wandering aimlessly and begin to live with focused intention. Having a clear purpose makes every day meaningful and every challenge valuable. The seventh reason is superior physical and mental health. Elevated energy, better sleep, amplified focus, emotional resilience, a strengthened immune system. Benefits you feel daily, and that make life more enjoyable in all aspects. The eighth reason is the genuine respect you develop for yourself. When you complete something you knew was difficult but important, your relationship with yourself transforms. You start to see yourself as a person capable of serious commitments and real transformation, not just as someone who talks about change. The ninth reason is the connection with ancestral traditions of masculine strength. You reconnect with a lineage of men who understood energetic conservation as the foundation of power and wisdom. It is a sense of belonging to something greater and older than a modern culture. The 10th reason is simply that it works. Retention delivers exactly what it promises. Superior versions of yourself operating at full capacity. When something works so well and produces such profound benefits, abandoning it would be literally self-betrayal. Regret only exists when you sacrifice something valuable for something inferior. But retention is the opposite. You sacrifice momentary pleasure for permanent transformation, primitive impulses for conscious power, instant gratification for lasting achievement. Men who complete this journey often say it is the best decision they have ever made, not just because of the benefits obtained, but because of the man they became. Retention does not just change what you can do, it fundamentally changes who you are. The process is before you, a process tested by millions of years of evolution, practiced by ancestral warriors, genius artists, and spiritual leaders throughout history. A process that can transform you from an ordinary man operating below potential into an extraordinary man functioning at full capacity. You have two choices: continue wasting your vital energy on momentary pleasures that leave you weaker with each ejaculation, or trust the natural process that will develop strength, creativity, magnetism, and power you do not even know you possess. Seminal retention is not about repressing your sexuality. It is about awakening superior versions of yourself that remain dormant while life force is constantly being drained. It is about discovering capabilities, developing character, creating value, and living with transcendent purpose. Yes, it will be challenging. Yes, there will be moments where you question if it is worth it. Yes, your mind will create 1,000 arguments about why you should give up. But these difficulties are precisely the signs that the transformation is happening. Every man who completes this journey speaks the same truth. It is the best decision he has ever made, not just because of the benefits gained, but because of the man he became. You are not just changing a behavior, you are rebuilding your masculine identity from the foundations. The process works for those who trust it. It works for those who persist through the temporary difficulties. It works for those who understand that real transformation requires time and patience. It works for those who are willing to sacrifice immediate pleasure for lasting power. If this video has awakened something within you, if you recognize that you have been operating below your potential, if you felt the call to discover superior versions of yourself that await awakening, then you need the complete knowledge that O Buscador, the Seeker, offers. Subscribe to the Seeker channel and hit the notification bell because the retention journey requires continuous knowledge, specific techniques to navigate challenges, and a deep understanding of the energetic transmutation process. In our other videos, you will discover ancestral methods of energetic conservation, specific practices of sexual transmutation, and the complete map of masculine transformation that will completely change how you view your potential. Share this knowledge with men who are ready to trust the process. The restoration of conscious masculinity is a collective mission that requires warriors willing to complete the journey of real transformation. The process is waiting. Your superior nature is waiting. The man you have the potential to become is waiting. Trust the process. You will not regret it. The Seeker guides you on the journey back home.